off with, this was the week that we finally got to witness the Suicide Squad, written and directed by James Gunn, the newest installment in the DC Extended Universe film franchise. This is a film franchise that has been rocky, to say the least. It's got real ups and it's got real downs. In my opinion, I'm a huge DC fan. Steve, you know this about me. I'm a huge DC guy. I have been for pretty much my entire life. So these movies either hit me like waves of joy and rapture, or they hit me like just heartbreak and sadness of why didn't they get this right? Why didn't they nail this? Sometimes it's a little bit of both, or sometimes it's somewhere in between. But I gotta say, and if we want to get some general thoughts out of the way first, then we can move into more spoiler stuff. I just want to say, I absolutely loved this movie so much. Big improvement over the first Suicide Squad installment, I thought. Which to me, that movie is one of those mixed bag ones. I think there's some good moments in that movie, and there's some certainly great casting in that movie. And there's a whole debacle behind that, which we kind of touched on last week. Not gonna get into that. But this one was just, in my opinion, miles above and beyond that first one. It's probably one of my favorite DCU movies that they've made. It might be one of my favorite comic book movies that I've ever seen. It's definitely up there. I have watched it 1.5 times. I am probably going to watch the remainder of my second viewing after we're done recording this podcast. I loved it. Steve, what did you think?
I think we touched on it off the pod, but as someone going in with no expectations for it whatsoever, strictly based on, saw Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad.
Right.
And that was pretty much everything I knew about any of these characters, and this was a complete 180 on everything that we saw. So, I think I said to you before, it might have at least was close to cracking probably my top 10 of comic book movies that have come out. Like, it was really solid for what, again, zero expectations going in. And I don't know if it was the James Gunn-ness. I don't know if it was the casting. I don't know if it was the combination of everything tied into that, but it was really good.
I agree. I think it's both those things and more. I think... First of all, I don't know the person's name that tried to get James Gunn fired from Disney all those years ago by digging up those old tweets, but I got to give a big thank you to that person for getting him temporarily fired from Disney, because if that hadn't happened, we would not have gotten this movie. So thank you for making my life better, unnamed troll. But I think that he clearly is somebody that loves these characters, loves the comic books. Clearly, we knows how to make a comic book movie. Knows how to make a movie, a great movie. He's made plenty. It was written and directed plenty of great movies, other than the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. But those are that's kind of like his big. Before now, his big kind of breakthrough films. And he clearly has an understanding of these characters, including the ones, more modern characters like Harley Quinn. That is not, he professed his love for the original John Ostrander run of Suicide Squad. Harley Quinn was not even invented as a character when that book was coming out, but he clearly has a big understanding of her and other characters that have come since then, and how to weave them all together and tell a tight absolute action-packed story, but also deliver great character moments and twists and turns, plot twists that you don't see coming, just one after another. I feel like he's challenging himself and upping himself every 15 minutes in that movie. There's a new hill for him to climb, and he scales it easily. I would like to move into some more spoiler territory. So if you have not seen this movie and you want to see this movie, skip forward until you hear us talking about Blue Beetle is the next story in our rundown. So skip ahead. I don't know how long it's going to be, because we can go long sometimes. So if you hear us talking about Blue Beetle, it's safe to stop. Anyway, yeah, I gotta say, I guess I don't know even how to start. How do we start talking about a movie that has so much in it? I don't know, Steve. Do you have anything that jumps out that you want to specifically talk about the plot or whatever?
I mean, even start from the beginning with just how they framed the whole thing, and I get that that's the premise behind the whole Suicide Squad thing, but to take the cast they had, including like Nathan Fillion and various other folks, and just throw them out there to die right off the bat. It's like, oh, okay. That was very smart.
That was here's going in watch. I kind of studied these trailers more than I normally do. Because I was like, okay, some of these characters are never in the same shots as these other characters. Like Polka Dot Man, Bloodsport, Ratcatcher 2, King Shark. They're never in a scene in the trailer with Javelin or Captain Boomerang or Savant or Weasel or all these other characters. Like there's got to be two different teams. And I was right. And I was pretty sure that one team wasn't going to make it and the other team was going to switch off. But I didn't know it was going to happen so early in the movie. Which was great. Weasel falling in and drowning immediately, hilarious. And then chaos erupting as soon as it gets to the beach. Just very James Gunn. Something you're not expecting. Very violent, very gory and bloody right out of the gate. Earns that R rating immediately. This is definitely definitely R-rated for more than just language. I think in the first 5 to 10 minutes of this movie, you see a guy get the top of his head cut off and slide slowly down, revealing his brain exposed. This is some hardcore action here.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to show your kids, this is a don't show your kids.
Yeah, this is a don't bring your kids for sure. And I don't know, like he's balancing a lot. Bouncing a lot of stuff because he is giving us this action-packed stuff, but he's also finding ways to introduce these new characters. Obviously he doesn't spend a ton of time on the characters that are going to die in 5 minutes. But Bloodsport, Ratcatcher 2, Peacemaker, even to a certain degree, King Shark, we spend a lot of time and get to know their characters in the middle of this bloodbath of a movie, in a way that really grounds them and connects you with them, in a way that the first Suicide Squad movie felt like it had. I feel like it got all like the first act of that movie is just exposition. Like, here's this character, here's their thing, here's this character, here's their thing. Like, this is like we are in and we're going, and we barely know any of these characters besides Harley and Rick Flag if you saw the first one. And Captain Boomerang also, who is one of the characters that dies immediately, which was kind of a surprise. But also, I guess not unexpected. James Gunn's trying to put his own spin on this thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if part of that was like, well, yeah, I'll connect it to the first one by bringing some old people in, but most of them are going to die.
Yeah, and it's funny, though, like, how you're talking about how they didn't need the crazy exposition. Like, eventually we heard, Ratcatcher's story and more about Bloodsport and his daughter and all that sort of stuff. And the fact that they didn't do it all right up front, and it's almost similar to the formula they used for Guardians, where it was like, we got Quill, which is the same thing we got with Bloodsport. Like, right off the bat, you knew what was going on with Quill, you knew what was going on with Bloodsport. And then the rest of the characters all come together, and you don't learn about what is driving them until later in the movie, and you don't need to. I think too many movies get that wrong, where every time there's a character introduced, they need to tell you the whole story right then.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a way to make a character interesting other than just immediately giving you their backstory, or their origin up front. Like,
let the story you want to tell develop, and then let their story weave into the story you want to tell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I mean, really, all you got to do, up front in this movie. we get a little bit more about Bloodsport, and his daughter comes to visit him in prison like that, and he's kind of the lead of the movie in some ways, or he's clearly one of the leads.
Right. Or at least the emotional anchor, if nothing else.
Yeah, he is an emotional anchor, that's for sure. So we get that. But the other characters, kind of off the jump, are so weird that you don't really need to know more about them until you do, if that makes sense. Like, until the gimmick or weirdness of that character kind of wears off, until you're more used to them. Like King Shark's just a giant anthropomorphic shark. Like that's visually interesting, so I'm in. That girl can talk to rats. That's weird. I'm in. Peacemaker has a giant weird silver thing on his head, and he kills tons of people in the name of peace. That's interesting enough. I guess we don't really get a ton of stuff on him, but we do have an HBO limited series coming, so I'm sure we'll learn more about him then. And Polka Dot Man, like, that's weird. That guy seems depressed, and he's got colorful polka dots all over him. Like, that's intriguing enough. He kind of wants to die. His first line in the movie is, "I hope we die," or something. So it's like, that's enough, and we don't need to know more right then, because that's a hook enough to get us to down the road where. Like, okay, now you need to tell us why these polka dots are, exploding your face. Like, what is happening there? And I think James Gunn is clearly good at that from this movie, and like you said, the Guardians. He can hook you with an interesting character, he can give you enough to care, and then wait till down the road to kind of explain the character. Because he's a good writer. I gotta. Sorry, go ahead.
Anthropomorphic shark, anthropomorphic tree. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Or raccoon, or whatever you. Right, exactly. Yeah, he clearly knows how to write for. You can tell that like his experience writing Groot really helped him with King Shark. I feel too. Like, I guess I can handle this.
I can use more words this time.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I thought the script. You and I talked about this last night. I almost wish that we hadn't talked about it. The situation that we're in, we kind of had to talk about it a little bit. I like going into these conversations with you fresh, but I like. The writing of the script to me was like very tight, and there was a lot of great through lines from either dialogue, either through lines or callbacks that didn't necessarily have to happen, but they did in a way that strengthened the movie. Like the whole thing with Harley being next to Javelin as he's dying, and Javelin says, "You must carry this Javelin for," and then dies, and she doesn't know why she's doing it. One of my favorite lines in the movie is when Bloodsport says, "What's with the Javelin?" and she says, "I'm waiting for God to tell me." Hilarious line. But also, like, that could have been the end of that. You pay it off with a joke later or whatever, or she just kills a random person with it and you don't see it again. But you see it, and she keeps finding it again throughout the movie, to the point where, huge spoiler, she kills Starro the Conqueror with it at the end. Like, that's why. Like, it's a great, like, that could have been a one-off joke either at the beginning or in the middle of the movie, but it's threaded through to the point where it has a huge payoff at the end, and like that is just a sign of great script writing. I think James Gunn is just a great writer director, and he clearly understands how to make a movie like this and really make it succeed. Were there other standout characters for you as someone that didn't go in, that went in? I mean, not a ton of people have a ton of knowledge about these characters because they're all similar to Guardians. There's C and D and Z list characters in some respects. So did you have any like standout characters that shocked you, that you had that was a favorite that you didn't expect?
I didn't expect the emotional ties to Ratcatcher that they were able to actually pull off.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt that the whole story also had Taika as her father, as Ratcatcher 1. And it's like the way they tied that to Elba's character and Bloodsport, like literally saying you sound like my daughter. It's the way they paid that all off was great through the whole thing. I thought that dynamic was phenomenal. I thought, for as much as John Cena played Peacemaker as a John Cena character, it also fit perfectly and also made you want to punch him, even though you would die if you tried to punch him. And apparently that man can rock jorts like nobody's business, so more power to him. Gunn knew how to cast too. Like, he knew what he was looking for, and he knew how to place exactly who he needed to, where he needed to.
Daniela Melchior as Ratcatcher 2 was like a big standout for me, because that's a character like I know of Ratcatcher. I'm not even sure if Ratcatcher 2 exists in the books. That might have been a thing where he wanted more of a legacy character, because who cares about Ratcatcher anyway? It might have been he might have invented Ratcatcher 2. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I see her as a very just super standout performer. I didn't recognize Taika Waititi until the last time we saw him in that flashback, and he spoke for the first time. I was like, oh, that's Taika Waititi, because I knew he was going to be in it, and I just kept not seeing him until I forgot.
Like my wife in the first little, like the one that was off in the clouds there.
Yeah.
I said to my wife, I was like, is that Taika Waititi? Like I had no idea he was in the movie. Like I didn't know going in. I was like, that kind of looked like him. That'd be weird. And then like you said, when it comes back later, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that definitely was.
Originally, it had been rumored that he was going to be the voice of King Shark, but that would have been, I think, too close to his core character from the Thor movie. So, but I think that was great. Because a small cameo, it's not a big role, but he was great in it, and having that father-daughter relationship and having Bloodsport be able to relate to her because of that, because we see the relationship he doesn't have with his daughter, it was really like a way to tie those characters together and make us know that they care about each other, and give them good reason to do so. I gotta say, David Dastmalchian as Polka Dot Man, really, I love that character more than I thought I would. He is, seen as a joke Batman villain, and they were able to give him so much, make him such a sympathetic character, and give him so much like pathos, that oh my god, I was out of all the characters, again, spoilers, any of the characters that died, he was the one that I was the most upset that died, because I loved him so much. And I wanted to see him in another movie, maybe, or down the line, like get better, or I felt so bad for him. I wanted his life to get better in some way, and it didn't. He died. I gotta say, I flipped out just the fact that Starro the Conqueror was in a movie. I saw a movie with Starro in it, and I think they did a great job of making him like leaning into the goofiness of a giant starfish with mind control powers, but also kind of making him terrifying. Like those like face hugger star things were like creepy. Get them away. I don't want that. Like the way they showed them sticking to people's faces, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is awful. Even though it's a big blue and pink starfish that looks goofy. And yeah, it does look goofy, but that's part of it. Where
proud. That's whatever that sound effect when the small starfish were coming out of his armpit. Yeah, that was like the sound design on that. Ben Burt is like, all right, nailed this. Like, I don't know what it was about that, but that sound just gave you the heebie-jeebies. You're just like,
I know. Yeah, so gross. And even the fact that his dying word through one of his minions is I was happy floating, looking at the stars or something like that. Like that gives wow, like you just gave us like you took a weird a famous Justice League villain that you would never think would work in a movie in live action. And not only did you lean into the craziness of that character, you also made him terrifying, as he is as can be in the books as well. But you also gave him a story, because we see the footage of him being captured from space, and again, pathos at the end when he's like, I would have been perfectly happy if basically saying like, you guys did this to me. You're the ones that captured me. I was happy floating around in space by myself.
Yep.
Like that is such a they gave us so much in that villain that we should have gotten nothing from at all. Better than some other villains in the DC universe and some Marvel universe, I would say. And it was just I don't know. It takes a very talented filmmaker to be able to thread that needle with a weird ass villain like Starro the Conqueror.
The self-referential thing of like, at one point during it, the guys in the control room are like, it's a freaking kaiju.
Yeah.
And I was literally like, you go and you see Starro like explode out of the rubble and all that, and it's like, oh, he's just gonna go on this terror run through whatever, and then the starfish start talking, and you're like, okay, it's not just a mindless creature destroying the city. This is weird. This is even weirder.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird. I have to also say, this movie to me felt like. I read an interview with James Gunn where he said someone asked him about Harley being, coming out of Birds of Prey into this movie, and did he read the script for Birds of Prey? Did he watch the movie before? Did he talk to Kathy Yan, the director, to make sure that things were in line? He said no. He said he saw an early cut of Birds of Prey, but he had already written his Suicide Squad script before he read the script for Birds of Prey or saw the movie. And I gotta say, that is tremendous for me, because this felt like such a perfect continuation of not only Harley's story from Birds of Prey, but also the way she's written felt exactly the same as how she is in Birds of Prey. There was no difference in character, I felt. And also the tone of the movie felt like a spiritual successor from Birds of Prey as well. Like, a lot of it really reminded me of Birds of Prey. It's told out of sequence, like Birds of Prey. There's like 8 minutes earlier, or like 2 days earlier, or something. It happens all the time in Suicide Squad. And Birds of Prey is also told in a non-linear fashion. They're both R-rated. They're both action. The action in them is both crazy. But they're two radically different directors. It just shows that they both clearly understand that character so well that they know the best way to write her as, without the Joker. She's not dependent on Joker. She's her own person, either finding herself or being more sure of herself. One of my favorite moments in the movie, her whole escape scene from out of the jail, the palace, basically the Corto Maltese palace. But when that guy, the prince or the king or whatever, asked her to marry him, and she was saying yes, basically, I was like, for a couple minutes, I was like, okay. Where is this movie going? Like,
right.
Are they gonna have to stop a wedding? Like, what is the third act of this movie gonna be? I thought Starro was gonna be this. And then, spoiler alert, she just shoots him. I was like, yes, that is perfect. That's exactly what she should be doing. It's like perfectly showing her arc, like first Suicide Squad movie, I'm in love with the Joker, he needs to come save me. Birds of Prey, I'm away from him, I need to figure out how to be my own person. I don't know if I can do it, but I need to figure it out, and she does figure it out. And Suicide Squad, a natural extension of that, she is operating as a fully formed character on her own. And she's not going to relive the mistakes of her past. Like, it was just like such a great continual arc. I think we talked a few weeks ago about how like she's one of the only DCEU characters that has really shown a developed arc, has had enough chance, has been in 3 consecutive movies that are more than cameo appearances, and has really started from point A and has gotten to point, C or D or F or what do you want to call it. Like it's clearly an emotional journey for her, and I just want Margot Robbie to keep playing Harley Quinn until she can physically no longer do it. I just think she's the perfect cast. One last thing I want to touch on before we move on, because I know we're talking a lot about one thing here, but it deserves it because it's an incredible movie. Seen a lot of people report that it underperformed at the box office because it made like $27 million on the weekend or whatever. I stayed at home to watch it on HBO Max. Did you watch it on HBO Max as well, Steve?
Absolutely.
Why did you watch it on HBO Max instead of going to a movie theater?
I don't know if you've heard this, Mike, but for the last year and change at this point, there's this small global pandemic going on.
Yeah, you mean the thing that we all kind of thought was over a couple weeks ago, but now the CDC is saying that it's getting worse and that we should wear masks inside even if we're vaccinated, and the Delta variant is, just ravaging our country. That thing that you want to avoid?
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Yeah. That's the reason that I stayed at home too, Steve. And the fact that people are suggesting that the movie somehow signals some kind of the quality of the film signals the reason for the underperformance is insane to me, and it makes me think that anyone reporting that is someone that was just born yesterday and miraculously can review movies, or is just an idiot, because I don't know, man. Like, look at the news. Look at news other than movie review sites, and you might see a great reason why people are staying at home. Also, we could stay at home. Like even I'm sure there's people that don't care about the Delta variant that are just lazy and didn't want to go to a movie theater, and it's offered on HBO Max. So yeah, we're staying at home to watch it. But it's very unfair, I think, to even compare it to a movie that came out 2 weeks ago or whatever, because it's really been 1 week ago. I was planning on going to the movie theaters to see this. This was going to be my return to the theaters, and then things changed, numbers went up, announcements were made, and I decided to not go. So I can't be the only person that made that decision based on the news that had come out at that time. So
no, when things go completely sideways, it's probably a good reason to stay home.
Yeah, it's a good reason to stay home. And I know there's a bunch of other like Disney and Marvel fanboys that just love watching DC fail, so they're grabbing onto that and touting it as like another failure for Warner Brothers. This is not a failure for Warner Brothers. Like, maybe financially, but this is a huge success for James Gunn. This is a huge success for DC and Warner Brothers. This movie is incredible. It's one of the highest rated movies of the DCEU. I looked on Rotten Tomatoes before I came down here. It is 1 percentage point below Wonder Woman. And the next, it's like Wonder Woman's at like 94, and this movie's at 93 or something like that. And the next one is Shazam is at like 90, and then they trickle down from there. But this should not be seen as anything other than a monstrous win for James Gunn and Warner Brothers in the DC universe, I believe.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly concur, and I would say that on the veins of monstrous wins, I think Jolo Marginera is celebrating a huge win, being cast in the lead of Blue Beetle, the HBO Max exclusive.
Beetle. Yes. Moving on. Finally, from Suicide Squad to the HBO Max exclusive film Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle? Is that what I just said?
That's a different movie.
Yeah. Blue Beetle. How did you say that name?
Cholo Maridueña?
Cholo Maridueña. Yeah. I'm sure we'll hear many times as we get close to this film.
Cholo, I strangely know because of soccer. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can be fairly confident. Has been cast as the first Latino lead in a superhero film. Blue Beetle, HBO Max. Man, I'm having trouble speaking tonight. Clearly exclusive.
It's not like we have a show where we're just talking about things and speaking as a narrative to it. So.
I should have done lip exercises or whatever the heck before.
I was reading Dr. Seuss books to my 4-year-old, so it worked out.
There you go. I don't really know this guy from anything else, but based on the look alone, I think he looks like a Jaime Reyes for sure. He's a younger Latino actor. And that's the character of Jaime Reyes as Blue Beetle. I'm super pumped for this movie. Unfortunately, there's nothing much. What's that?
He was in Cobra Kai. Was that where he was from?
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. He's one of the leads in Cobra Kai, isn't he?
Yep. Yeah, I still haven't seen Cobra Kai, although I've had plenty of people tell me to watch it, but I haven't gotten around to it. And there's not any content out there.
Yeah, same. I have had tons of people tell me to watch it. Karate Kid, I don't know, man. I watched the Karate Kid movies when I was a kid. They just weren't movies that like went into my soul like other movies. So I don't have the nostalgia. I don't have the nostalgic drive to watch Cobra Kai the way other people do.
And we're in that era. Like both of us are of that era where we should, by all accounts, have that.
Yep.
But I got nothing.
Yeah. I got nothing either. But for those that love it, I'm glad that you're getting a sequel to something that you love, and I'm glad that sequel is incredible, because it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah. And apparently this guy's in that franchise, so
clearly. So hopefully he's going to kill it on Blue Beetle as well. So we got a director, we got a lead. I'm sure there'll be more casting announcements. They're clearly working on these HBO Max exclusives. We're getting Batgirl castings, we're getting Blue Beetle castings. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing about Justice League Dark or John Constantine, Zatanna, Madame Xanadu, all these other ones they've announced for HBO Max coming up pretty soon. Something that is also on the HBO Max app. This is weird. It's not a movie. It's not a TV. It's a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, an audio drama. Kind of like a podcast, right?
Yeah,
same thing.
We'll go with it.
Well, and I guess I must have missed this. That they announced this a while ago. And I guess I just missed it. They're making an audio drama called Batman: The Audio Adventures, and this is an audio drama that's featuring a humorous take on Batman. That's going to be through the HBO Max app. So it's not going to be through Spotify or Stitcher or Apple or wherever you're listening to this right now. It's going to be through the HBO Max streaming app, which I think is kind of a really cool idea as a way to diversify your streaming service. Maybe you can't listen through it on your TV, or who the hell knows? Maybe you will be able to listen to it on your TV. But this is I don't know. It's a cool way to diversify the content that you have available on your app. The news we got this week is that Rosario Dawson will be voicing Catwoman in Batman: The Audio Adventures, which is cool. Rosario Dawson, no stranger to nerddom, obviously playing Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian. She's also voiced Barbara Gordon in the Lego Batman movie, so she's familiar with the DC universe as well. Someone else who's familiar with the DC universe, or should be by now, is going to be our new commissioner. What's that?
She was also Night Nurse.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was Night Nurse in Netflix. So yeah, she's all over this nerddom. But Jeffrey Wright, who was playing Commissioner Gordon in the upcoming Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson, the Batman movie, is going to be voicing Batman. So that's cool. Kind of a weird crossover. And he's got a great voice for sure, so I can definitely see him rasping it up as a Batman. And also John Leguizamo as the Riddler. So this is kind of a star-studded cast that I love.
Best known for his role as Luigi Mario.
I don't know, best known. He's a great actor, but
okay, in my brain, he's best known for that. Just for my years.
Probably the first time I saw him in anything was as Luigi Mario. I've come to realize he's great in other things. But yeah, I feel like besides John Leguizamo, I don't necessarily. Well, I guess Rosario Dawson. I don't identify Jeffrey Wright as being funny necessarily. The things I've seen him in are always pretty serious and dramatic. But this is a humorous take on Batman, and he's Batman. It could be interesting, I guess. Or if it's a thing where he's serious and everyone else around him is making fun of how serious he is, that could work for sure. Rosario Dawson, I've seen in some comedies, and John Leguizamo can do anything. So I'm excited for this. I think we're talking a lot. We're talking a lot about nerdy audio dramas more in the last few weeks. So this is clearly something that people are into, and that companies are exploring ways to.
Well, like I said, I picked up the Sandman season 1, which again, listen to it. Also on the don't listen to with kids end of things. Oh my god, that is dark. But phenomenally done. I just subscribed to that Old Man Star-Lord that we had talked about a couple weeks ago that I completely forgot was dropping. And now this. I mean, I think the Marvel side of things had confirmed a couple too. So it's like we're going to be getting a lot of fodder for long car rides and various I live my life in my car, so I'm not going to complain.
And the Spotify exclusive Batman one starring Winston Duke that we just talked about last week. So like there's plenty of audio stuff that's going to be out there. And I don't know, I'm excited to diversify any kind of nerdy content that I can, other than TV and movies. And comics, of course. Moving on from the DC universe to a galaxy far, far away, talking about Star Wars. I don't know. This isn't about a movie, and it's not about a television show. It's not about a comic book. It is about a theme park, ladies and gentlemen. Galaxy's Edge. A theme park that I've wanted to go to since it opened, and have not been able to for many reasons. One of them being the aforementioned global pandemic.
Oop. You there, Mike? Did we lose you? Don't know what happened here, but I will continue to vamp while we're trying to figure out what's going on. I can confirm that Galaxy's Edge launched directly before the global pandemic hit, and I don't know. Other than that, I think Mike may have dropped. Let me see what we can come up with here. He'll pop back on in a minute. But Yeah, I know Galaxy's Edge itself launched, I think, in fall of 2019 in the Florida location at least. Basically, fully themed Star Wars theme park that is supposed to be very immersive. Couple of rides that are targeted, like literally piloting the Millennium Falcon. With this Galactic Starcruiser that was announced, they have officially created a hotel experience that is supposed to be fully immersive. They take you on shuttles from your location to the park or to the hotel itself. That is your trip to the Galactic Starcruiser. They bring you down to Batuu, which is where the Galaxy's Edge is supposed to be set, and bring you all back. Everyone is in character. Everything is going on. Seemed like a very intriguing prospect. That said, the prices officially came out for what was going to be happening, and there's some serious prices. So I don't know if it looks like Mike might be popping back on here. Hey, he's back.
Hey, am I back?
You are back.
Hey. Sorry. My computer froze up completely, and there's nothing I can do but restart it, so I'm sorry about that.
Well, people got about a minute and a half of me poorly describing what Galaxy's Edge and the Galactic Starcruiser are.
Okay.
And I got right to the price.
right up to the price, but didn't announce it?
Pretty much. Yep.
Well, if you want to stay in a 2-day Star Wars hotel, it's like, let me get this. I'm sorry if I'm recapping something you just said to people while I was fixing my frozen computer. It's 2 full days, correct?
Yep.
And you don't leave the hotel, right? You're there the whole time.
2 days, 2 nights. Yes, during the day, I believe the middle of the second day you go to Galaxy's Edge or Batuu,
right,
as it is.
But just once, right? You only go there one time.
You get your one trip down to the planet, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. It's weird that you're there for 2 days and you can only go to the park one time. I don't know. Anyway, as Steve was about to say, the prices for this came out this week for if you're going for if you're just going with a friend, two. You have to pay. It is $4,809 for 2 days for two people. About half of that if you're just a single guest. For a family of four, you're looking at $6,000. But I don't even know why they said they announced it as $5,999. Just say $6,000, man. You're not fooling anybody with that dollar off. Steve, what do you think of these prices?
Well, as a current human that has a family of 3, at $5,200, I don't think we're heading down there anytime soon. That's effectively the price of a full week-long cruise plus for everybody, and this is 2 nights.
I gotta say, when they announced the Galactic Starcruiser Hotel, I was so excited for it. I was like, I am doing that 100%. I am doing that for like a birthday or something. I'm doing it. And these, I don't know if I can swing that, man. Well, I mean, one, again, global pandemic. I'm not going to Florida anytime soon. If anyone isn't following us, check out what's going on in Florida. You don't want to be in Florida right now. But other than that, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna need video and pictures of people that go before me. I'm gonna need full accounts of what it's like to justify that amount of money, because I've heard it compared to like Westworld, the TV show Westworld, where you're like it really feels like you're there, and there's aliens and the windows make it look like you're in space, and there's always like. If I can walk into a thing and really feel like I'm in the middle of a Star Wars movie, then that might be worth it for me, honestly. Right. But if it feels at all ever like I'm not on a spaceship, it's not worth it for me. Like I need to think I'm in space 100% of the time.
Yeah, and as weird as it sounds, I feel like those prices to me scream to me that like if I'm going there, because if I want to go to Disney, I want to go and bring my family and my kid and like enjoy the Disney thing.
Yeah,
but at those prices, it's like, all right, I'm finding a friend that's a fan of Star Wars, and we're going down as cheap as possible for this experience because we're gonna actually like appreciate the whole thing. And I know, like when you were saying that you've been excited since they announced it, my wife, who couldn't care less about Star Wars, was extremely excited about it.
Oh wow!
And now, like when they announced it, and now she's just like, it's a lot of money. We're not doing that. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
That's an accurate statement.
Yeah. Because I've been saying that I want to go to Galaxy's Edge for so long, my wife was like, "You're not going to Disney World without taking our son." Right. And I was like, "But he hasn't even seen the movies. He won't care. Like he won't care until he's seen literally 9 Star Wars movies minimum." And these prices came out, and she's like, "Okay, yeah, you can go by yourself if you're gonna go. Like, I'm not gonna pay $6,000 to take 3 of us. I mean, I guess it would be less, and maybe it would only be $5,000 if we were only 3 of us. But no, because we probably still have to pay for the full room. It's not like they probably will still soak you for the $6,000. So anyway, I don't know. Yeah, this is just something that we felt like we wanted to talk about. I guess we have a friend that may or may not be going to Galaxy's Edge, not to the Starcruiser, but to Galaxy's Edge in November. Obviously, COVID considerations may prevent that from happening. But if he goes, we're going to have him on the pod to fill us in and tell us about the experience. Because I don't know, I'd love to walk into Star Wars land and pretend that I'm in a Star Wars movie for a day. But again, like if you're making people stay in a hotel without leaving for 2 full days, you get to leave once for like what, 2 hours, 3 hours to go to Galaxy's Edge and you come back. Like
yeah,
that's gotta be
tightly planned.
Yeah, like you gotta be offering something amazing. If you're saying like, come to this hotel, you can't leave except for 3 hours on your second day, and then that's it. Like that's gotta be, you gotta be really offering something tremendous. So I mean, thinking of it that way, they have to know that too. They have to be like, well, we can't ask people to just stay in their rooms and not do anything. Like, we have to be giving them something special. So I don't know. Fingers crossed it's something special. And once I start seeing people's videos and YouTube reviews and things like that, then maybe I'll be like, oh yeah, that's worth $2,000 or whatever it would take for me to just go by myself or with you.
More to come on that, but the sticker shock initially was like, we should probably talk about that on the pod.
Yeah, for sure. Staying in Star Wars for a second, we got the announcement we're going to get a season 2 of Bad Batch debuting in 2022. Series is wrapping up next week, I think. Next week is the finale.
I believe whatever this Friday is will be the last. Because last Friday was the start of the 2-parter.
So, right. Okay. I have not watched the last Friday, so I'm caught up other than that. But
I think I'm like 2 weeks behind because I was stuck in the woods. So minor.
Okay, that's right.
They don't have that.
Real quick. Yeah. Real quick. What have we haven't talked about the series in a while. What do you think of it?
I've thought it was a pretty solid continuation. I thought it was very. At this point, it's been enjoyable to watch. It hasn't been to the point where I am. It hasn't been like must see on the nose every single week.
Yeah. Clearly, because neither of us are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been, it's been in the vein of the other Filoni shows. Like, it's solid. It's not Resistance. It's closer to Rebels and Clone Wars than Resistance. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I haven't seen Resistance. I understand that was made for younger viewers, but I haven't seen it. But I've heard mixed things. But
yeah, it was a mixed things show. Like, there was a lot of good that came out of it, and there was a lot of like, it's definitely a good show.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's okay. I don't love it. Like, I feel like I feel myself checking my phone, or I catch myself checking my phone a lot, or not really caring, I guess, about what they're doing. I don't know. I think we mentioned when we talked about it the last time is that for a while it was kind of showing the building of the Empire. Like the B plot was like Tarkin and other Imperials kind of like figuring out what the Empire's going to look like. That was like super, way more interesting to me. Like, how do they transition from clones to real human stormtroopers? You know, like that was really interesting to me. And this side mission stuff with the team was kind of like, okay, sure, whatever. And I guess I still kind of feel that way. Like, it's good, but it's not mind blowing for me.
Yeah, I had figured they were going to get away from that for a bit. You know, do the side missions thing, play some filler episodes, because the season was 16 episodes long. It's not like Clone Wars where it was all 20 something. It's not a tight, you know, six episode miniseries. It was somewhere in between. So I figured there was a chance that, you know, they drift away for a little bit, show a little character development, and then come back and show you that sort of stuff too. And I don't know where that went, but
yeah.
Maybe we'll see it in season 2 because apparently it's been greenlit. So.
Yeah, for sure. Moving from Star Wars into Marvel, pretty light week for Marvel. We didn't really get much. And you know, this is a pretty thin story. This isn't even really much that we're going to talk about for Marvel here. But Chloe Zhao has described the character of Sersei in her upcoming film, The Eternals. Sersei is a member of that group. I almost said team, but I feel like they're not even a team. I feel like just like entities that exist. Can you really call them a team? They're just like a race, kind of, right?
Like, from what I'm gathering from the trailers and that's kind of what this movie is about. Is like they're all just doing their thing, and then they kind of are coming together at this point.
Yeah. All right, well, she said regarding the character of Sersei, she said, it has always been a passion for me to create a nuanced female superhero that is rarely seen in this genre. That's true. She said Gemma, meaning Gemma Chan, the actress who plays the character, was very interested in this idea as well and took on the challenge. She is a great actress, very intelligent and brave. She brought a beautiful sense of gentleness, compassion, and vulnerability to Sersei that I believe will invite viewers to rethink what it means to be heroic. And then the actress Gemma Chan went on to say that Sersei is not your typical superhero. She is not necessarily the best fighter. She doesn't have the most obviously impressive powers. The main thing is she's an empath. She has a connection with humans and the world and the earth. That is her strength, and I leaned into that. So I've only read one Eternals comic in my entire life. I am not very familiar with the team at all. Really, this is still like a wait-and-see movie for me, but I have to say the idea, the kind of things they're talking about here are at least more interesting to me than things that we've seen 23, 24, 25 times in other MCU films so far. Like the idea that one of the main characters doesn't have flashy, punchy powers, and empathy is her power. Like, that's actually very interesting, because if you do that correctly, you can really, you can show some stuff that you haven't seen before, and you can create a connection with the character because of how vulnerable she is. Like, that is kind of the inverse of a lot of heroes that we see, specifically female heroes. I feel like a lot of people tend to write female heroes as if they just were a man and make them a female. We're getting better in that as the years go on, but it's still an issue. But somebody that has a sense of gentleness, compassion, and vulnerability is an interesting character to to be an ensemble. It's an ensemble movie, but one of the leads of a giant Marvel movie, I think, is interesting. And if you do that in a way that connects with the audience, then it's going to be something. Could be something unlike we've ever seen before.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Eternals end of things, where you may have actually read more Eternals than I have, but like the general.
It was the new run I picked up. There was like they did a new run, I think, in the lead up to the film, and I got like the number. The one that just launched. Yeah, so I got the number one of that, and I read it, and I was like, okay, I don't love this, but okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what to expect from this film. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. I did find out after you posted the story, I had looked up Gemma Chan to see what she was in. I never realized this is not her MCU debut. That she was Minerva.
Yes.
So
yeah, she's Captain Marvel.
Covered in blue paint. It is, you don't realize it. So
yeah, I think there's probably enough of a differential there with the look of characters to there won't be any confusion. I don't think.
Right. That, well, that's
also,
like,
did she die in Captain Marvel?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. That all. I think she did.
Minor.
So yeah, minor detail.
Actually,
still, I know we got
30-second timeout because we have there's actually a random. I for once looked at our live stream comments thing, and we did get a comment back. Someone is asking about our T-shirts. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Said, hey Mike and Steve, can you ever request for you guys show the full design T-shirts you're wearing full screen with each other? Nice tees you have there. So
thank you. This is an Action Comics T-shirt that has a Superman breaking a chain in the corner there. Yeah. My sister got this for me at like a thrift store. I think she found it at like a secondhand shop years ago. I've had this for a very long time. Tiny little backstory on this shirt. I'm in a band in Syracuse, New York called The Action. And we got our name from this T-shirt. I was wearing the shirt, and we were struggling to come up with a name, and someone said, how about The Action Comics? And then we turned it into The Action after that. So, yeah, I love this shirt. Your turn, Steve.
I now have learned where the name came from.
That's right.
All these years I've known you guys, I had no idea, so now I do.
Now you do.
This is just the classic Millennium Falcon blueprints T-shirt that, I don't know, just like it. Just gives the nice breakdown of various parts of the Falcon, and was fun, so I grabbed it.
Yeah. I do try to wear a nerdy T-shirt every episode. I try to do it. I don't think I've repeated any yet, but I'm probably close to either
just into my
forgetting to or whatever. Yeah. I have more T-shirts than anybody needs to own at all. So I try to wear a different nerdy one for each episode, and I think I got a while before I need to repeat. I just hope that I might repeat by accident, but I got plenty stashed away. I'll tell you that.
I think
so. Thank you.
The solo DL44 blaster. So,
yes, that's a great one. That's a great one.
So my wife actually, when I bought it, my wife was like, "Why do you have a shirt with a gun on it?" I'm like, "That's not any gun."
It's not a gun, it's a blaster.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. Anyone that's watching us on YouTube, especially live, I mean, I guess only live, we won't be able to answer questions if it's not live. But pipe in. Tell us if you think we're wrong, if you think we're right, if you agree with us, if you disagree, if you want to ask us about our T-shirts or any things that are on our shelves behind us, what have you. We're more than willing to talk to you about it.
Right. And if we don't, it's because I'm not watching the chat, so you can blame me.
Yeah, I don't even see the chat, so it's not my fault at all. It's 100% Steve's fault if you ask something and he doesn't respond. It's all Steve. Okay, Steve, are you ready for this? We're going to be moving into a universe that we have never spoken about before in all 13 episodes of this podcast, issues of this podcast, whatever you want to say. For the first time, we're talking about Star Trek, ladies and gentlemen. Steve, what's your relationship with Star Trek?
Next Generation and Deep Space Nine replays when I was young with no real continuity, and I tried to watch Discovery and then didn't want to pay for CBS.
Oh, cool. Okay. I watched the original series when I was a little kid, and I liked it. I remember wanting to watch the first Star Trek movie, and I was bored out of my mind. Again, when I was a little kid. Because I wanted it to be Star Wars, and it wasn't. That's a big, I feel like you got to be a little more mature to appreciate Star Trek in a certain way. I watched Next Generation for a while again when I was younger, and I kind of fell off from there. I've seen 2 out of the 3. I saw the 2 J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. I thought one was great and one was meh, and I never saw the third one. So I can't say I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I know a little bit, but I'm not well versed. I have not watched Star Trek Discovery, and I know that there were some plans to make a continuation of the Star Trek movie franchise, either with that same cast or the new one. Quentin Tarantino was going to be making a Star Trek movie for a while, or directing one, or written one, or something. Yeah, that was real close to going, I think. And I don't I don't know why in the world they wouldn't want Quentin Tarantino to make a Star Trek movie. Probably because it would have been rated R and would have been a bloodbath.
Right.
But
it would have been a Tarantino movie with Star Trek.
Yeah.
Into it.
But who wouldn't want to see? I guess there's hardcore Star Trek fans that would have hated that. I know. But like somebody like me who's like on the fence and not passionate about it necessarily, 100% would have eaten that up. So while their feature films may have stalled a little bit, they've been crushing it on the small screen with Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard. They have an animated show called Lower Decks, I think. That's like a comedic take, and this is all, I believe, on Paramount Plus or CBS All Access. That became Paramount Plus, right? That same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I refer to CBS,
they've
it's
announced
Paramount Plus now.
Yeah. Why do they all have to be named Plus? Apple Plus, Paramount Plus? Just because Disney Plus calls themselves Disney Plus, you got to put a plus at the end of your streaming service? Like, you can come up with a better name, right? I don't know. Like HBO at least did Max. That's something slightly different, at least, you know. Anyway, Star Trek Starfleet Academy is a new series being announced on Paramount Plus, created by Alex Kurtzman, who also works on Star Trek Discovery. He's kind of seems to be the go-to guy for Star Trek TV series on Paramount Plus at this point. It's going to feature like young cadets at the Starfleet Academy and drama in and around that. This seems like a cool idea if it's a way. You know, it seems like Star Trek, like every other fandom, is working in some kind of connected universe, where I guess there's different timeline for the J.J. Abrams films, but everything else kind of works in the same timeline. I guess I'm not sure if Discovery, which timeline Discovery is. I assume it's in the original one, with Kirk and Spock and all that. But I mean, they haven't announced too much about Starfleet Academy other than the name of it and who it's being created by, but it seems like maybe a departure if it's going to be about people at the Starfleet Academy and not people piloting ships in space. And will that be welcomed by fans, or they'll be like, where's my outer space? Why isn't this, Captain's Log and Stardates? This is just kids in class. It's either going to be, I don't know, maybe they will go to space or whatever. I don't know. It just seems like a departure, which could be good. It could be bad. Could be bad. Do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I mean it's funny because I mentioned that I tried to watch Discovery and it wasn't. I didn't stop watching Discovery for lack of interest. I stopped watching it for lack of wanting to pay because I already had way. You seem like
you're backpedaling to avoid the wrath of angry Star Trek fans.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that I didn't like it. It was great. I just, I couldn't.
Yeah, I'll.
I don't think we have enough listeners to yet to incur the wrath of anybody. I mean, who knows? Maybe we're getting there. We're slowly building a following here, but I don't know. We should get all our hot takes out now, I guess, before we get enough listeners to call us stir.
There you go. Yeah, no, we it was solid. So if they're continuing down that train, then it seems like it'll be good. I just, from a personal standpoint, I feel like I always should have liked Star Trek more than I ever ended up getting invested in.
Same.
So maybe this is the thing that hooks me.
But that's what I was going to say about living in a shared universe. This could be a good way for them to introduce characters that might show up later in a movie or show up later in a different series. Or I guess if we don't know what timeline this is taking place in, if this is a prequel, maybe it's going to be younger versions of characters that already exist or we've seen before. Who knows? I guess there's a lot of opportunity that they could take with a show like this, but we'll have to wait and see. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Moving from Star Trek into the miscellaneous universe category, everyone's favorite category. This is giant. If Suicide Squad hadn't come out this week, this would have been our top story 100% for this week. We got the very first trailer, not a teaser, trailer for the hotly anticipated adaptation of Y: The Last Man on FX Networks. Steve, what do you think of this trailer?
I watched it a number of times, and I still I can't tell if I liked what I saw as much as I think I liked what I saw, or if it was just seeing it because I've been anticipating it since I read the books.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
The guy playing Yorick seemed to functionally say the 5 words that he did in a way that Yorick might have said them.
Yes, he did. You're right.
Like, okay, cool. It's they set up a lot without giving away much, which is nice. Like I was glad they didn't. There wasn't too many hooks of things that would give away any plot twists from the book, or even from the early end of the book. Right. We got to see ampersand, so it was a win-win.
I kind of agree with you. Like it is a trailer that it looked great. It was a great trailer, and it made the show look great. But it didn't really give you enough to tell if the show's going to be great, I guess. Like, yes, it looks really amazing. And the guy playing Yorick, the few words he said really felt like that character to me. Like, he really, like, immediately, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, he's doing a great job, and I only saw him say 3 things. But yeah, we got Dr. Man, we got Agent 355, we got, Yorick's mom, we got a lot of great characters. I really liked that the visual pullout of the city, streets blocked in the shape of a Y, which some of the comic book did all the time.
Yep.
So that was really encouraging to me that, they do know the source material, and they are adapting it in a way that showcases that, or the beauty of that material. I mean, we've talked about before, Why the Last Man is one of my favorite comic book stories, graphic novel series stories, whatever you want to call it, of all time. It's just incredible. And September, right? Soon.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest surprise for me from the whole trailer, was when they put the date up there. I was like, oh,
yeah. It's crazy to me that we've been waiting so long for an adaptation of this movie, and it's been in development hell in a bunch of different incarnations for so long. And even this series at FX went through some production troubles where they fired the showrunners and hired new people. And we've talked about on previous episodes how they're going to address transgendered women or transgendered men. Like, how's that going to be affected? Are they going to address it at all? Like, is that going to offend people? It's going to be kind of a touchy subject, and maybe that's part of the reason why it was so hard to get it done. Because it was written at a time when we weren't really thinking about gender in the way that we think about gender today. So when you say all the men die, what's that mean for those that have transitioned? Like, what stance are you taking on what gender means? You kind of have to draw a line at some point, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. But anyway, either way, I'm very excited for this show, and that trailer looks great. If you haven't seen it, you can find it on YouTube or whatever. Check out the trailer for Why the Last Man. Staying in the miscellaneous universe before we get to our one-shot segment, real quick, Colin and Casey Jost are writing a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. This is a live-action film that is different from the Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg animated movie that we've talked about before on this show, and been announced for years. This is new that they're writing a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and that's all that there is. I don't know. We've barely talked about the Ninja Turtles on this show.
Yeah.
Steve, do you prefer a live-action Ninja Turtle or a animated Ninja Turtle? Which would you be more excited to see?
See, that's always the thing. Is if you're going dark and brooding, give me live action. If you're going, comic-y, give me the animated. Which, with Colin and Casey Yost, I'm assuming this is going to be a comedic take on it because, SNL.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's like every time they try and redo the Turtles, strangely enough, this latest run of the Turtles comic from Image has been really good.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I picked up a couple issues here and there, but it was solid. And it's a different take on it. But it doesn't really have the comedic, chops that they're trying to force on it and make it ultra kiddie and whatnot. So
if
it's going to be live action, and maybe they can do what they do with it, and hopefully it's not too bad.
Oh, you made your face contorted into some weird wince where you're like, bad. The delivery of that was great.
They've had some bad Turtles movies, man.
No, I know. We've had plenty of them. Yeah, I don't know what I would prefer. I guess I assume that the Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg one is going to be more of a kid-friendly comedic one because it's animated. But we've certainly had some more mature animated films. So that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. A live-action one seems to translate more to like a more serious take, but I feel like if you get the head of Weekend Update to be writing it, then there's going to be jokes in that for sure. Maybe they're going to try to blur the line or like walk the line between something more serious but something that is also comedically effective at the same time. And of course, there's no reason we can't have both. Obviously, no one's going to get confused with an animated movie versus a live-action movie. I think I said this the last time we talked about Ninja Turtles, but I really hope that in a live-action Ninja Turtle movie, the Turtles are physical, like practical costumes.
Yes.
And animatronic, whatever, like not CGI like the Michael Bay movies. Like, I don't want to see that again. We already tried that, and nobody liked it. And I just really want the rubber suits like when I was a kid. It just looks awesome. And I feel like
1990s
I thought they and I feel like they looked pretty good back then too. And whatever advancements that they've made in costuming or animatronics since then, like you got to be able to make a great looking Ninja Turtle costume at this point. So I don't know. That's my wish for that live action movie. I don't know anything about it other than it's being written right now. Who knows if it'll even go. But anyway, moving into our segment of one shots. These are stories that came out this week that we wanted to talk about, wanted to mention, but not necessarily big enough stories to spend a lot of time talking about. So we're going to do some one-shots here. Take it away, Steve.
Sure. Deadpool 3, in an interview with Collider. No, not with Collider. I read it on Collider. Either way, in an interview...
No, I think it was Collider.
Oh, was it with them? Oh,
I think it was. Yeah.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds basically talked to someone and was asked how likely it was to film Deadpool 3 in 2022, and he said about 70%. So we might be getting Deadpool 3 sooner than we thought.
Awesome. Anytime he talks about Deadpool, I realize how much I love those movies and miss him as Deadpool. The next one shot here is another Ryan Reynolds Deadpool story. In another interview, he's promoting his movie Free Guy. And so he's doing a lot of interviews lately. Obviously, people are asking about Deadpool. He mentioned that he pitched a short film idea to Disney executives about Deadpool tracking down the hunter who killed Bambi's mom. Obviously, you'd go into this thinking that he was tracking him down to kill him in vengeance for murdering Bambi's mom. But the twist being that he's seeking advice on how to be the most ruthless killer in history from one of the most ruthless killers in history. Obviously, the Disney execs did not go for this, and they will not be making that movie, and he's free to talk about it on press. But that's something that maybe that we could have gotten from Ryan Reynolds in the Disney universe.
Yep, did not get that greenlit. In other news, for things that did get greenlit a long time ago, Stranger Things Season 4, I think it's been, 2 years now since the last one, so that will be coming out in 2022, so a full 2 to 3 years between seasons. New trailer dropped, new teaser trailer, with mostly a recap of Season 3 and some quick shots of new footage. Nothing really revealed, but yeah, it's coming.
I can't believe it's been 2 years, but you're right. It's been such a long time. Those kids have to be like almost 30 by now.
Yeah.
All right, Neil Gaiman this week confirms that Season 1 of Sandman for Netflix has completed filming. There's no release date yet. Clearly, there's, Clearly, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of digital effects they have to work on for this movie. But the main production on this season has completed. I cannot wait for this show. So I'm just gasping for any kind of detail that we're getting so far. But we're one step closer to getting Sandman season 1 on Netflix.
And to finish out the one-shots, Disney Plus has announced Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales, a Halloween special featuring Poe and BB-8 traveling to Darth Vader's castle in Mustafar to meet Graballa the Hutt. Apparently, Vinay, who is Darth Vader's assistant, and the guy you see walking to his meditation chamber in Rogue One to wake him up is also featured in it. There we go.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah, so if you want more of him, check out the Star Wars Adventures, the IDW imprint. Their Tales from Vader's Castle series. It's
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a funny, it's a jokey, funny take on a bunch of stuff around, they have Tales from Vader's Castle, Return to Vader's Castle, and I think Shadow of Vader's Castle. So.
Oh, wow.
Fun stuff.
Cool. Did you watch this past year's Disney Plus Lego Star Wars Holiday Special?
That I did. I thought it was
phenomenal.
I
watched it too. Yeah, it was great. It was fun.
Sebastian loved it too.
Yeah. Oh, great. So, if this is anything like that, then great. I'm always down for a Halloween special, no matter what. Okay, moving from the world of TV and film, moving into comics, closing out every show as we do with talking about comics because we love them. First, real quick, coolest thing ever, newly crowned billionaire Rihanna was seen shopping and leaving after shopping in a comic book store in New York City this past week. No word on what she bought, but I would love to know if she bought anything or what she looked at. Because I don't know, it's cool to see Rihanna as a billionaire spending her time in a comic book store. That's great. More, please. I always love seeing pictures of a celebrity that's cast to play a character reading comic books about that character. Those are my favorite photos to see, like Brie Larson on a couch reading Captain Marvel books, after she was cast. I love those photos. All right. Doing our other segment that we have here called Kickstarter Call Out. Last week we called out a book that ended up getting canceled the next day due to they weren't super close to their funding amount, but there was also states that there were some personal things going on. So sorry to what seemed like a bait and switch, telling you to go fund a book that turned out to get pulled from Kickstarter. This week we got something, a campaign from a publishing company called Band of Bards Comics. Band of Bards is a new comics publisher that is right down the road from us in Buffalo, New York. So shout out to you other upstate New York comic nerds over there in Buffalo. This book is called Final Gamble. It's about two people that fall on hard times and become prisoners of something called the Mercury Society, a group of the richest and most powerful people in the world who force people to fight to the death in an elite gamble for their own souls. It's blending horror with psychological thriller and tabletop gaming. Three of the three genres that get blended together all the time. Final Gamble, of course. Final Gamble explores the corruption of wealth, the horrors of humanity, and the strength of solidarity. It's written by Bobby Singer, art by Jorge Santiago Jr., colors by Harry Saxon, and letters by George Gant. This is the inaugural book from Band of Bards. Like I said, they're just starting out as a comics publisher. They really focus on a diverse set of creators and characters. They want their books to be fully representative of everybody from all races and creeds and sexualities and genders and all of that good stuff. They're about $1,000 away from their goal with 24 days left, so plenty of time for them to hit their goal. Please go out and pledge this book. They have a cool video that kind of sets it up and a lot of in-depth information about the characters, and you can see pages and things like that. So check out Kickstarter for Final Gamble. Steve, if you had a chance to check out this page at all?
I ended up taking a look at it today. Didn't end up watching the video because life got in the way. But the fact that they describe the way they described it, breaking down who would like this book, I just pulled it up again because I remember it stuck with me, and it was for fans of the film Rounders, Casino Royale, and Fight Club. Okay, sure, you got me. For fans of the genres horror, anarcho-punk, psychological dramas, gambling, and tabletop gaming, mixed martial arts, and generally fighting the power. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
All good stuff. All good stuff. And for us, I mean, it's not super local for us, but it's like local enough that I feel like I gotta like pledge to that. They're just in Buffalo, a short 2-hour drive away from us. So congratulations, Band of Bards, for launching your first book. Let's help them get it funded so we can read more from Band of Bards, because they're trying to do the good work, making some good, all-encompassing comic books.
And for the record,
one other
last week,
go ahead.
From last week, if we catch anything on what Brant Fowler is up to next, we'll make sure to let you know.
Yes, Brant Fowler, the creator of the book that we plugged last week, Celestial Falcon. Was the name of it. Took me a second to remember it, but we'll see whatever he's up to. We'll make sure that we plug that next week. Because I don't know, it seemed like a great book, and I'm bummed that it's not going to happen. But anyway, we got an announcement about a book that I was not expecting, probably to ever see in my life. Blackula. Writer Rodney Barnes and artist Sean Alexander, the pair that write the ongoing book Philadelphia. They are re-teaming for a trilogy of graphic novels featuring the character of Blackula from the 1972 blaxploitation film Blackula. This is like a cult classic film that I've heard of my entire life. I never actually sat down and watched it. I've heard it's really good. Deals with, it kind of uses vampirism as an analogy for the lasting effects of slavery on somebody. It's a vampire film, clearly a spin-off of Dracula, blaxploitation film, cult classic, social commentary, clearly. And Rodney Barnes, I guess, was always loved that film, and always a big fan of the character, and always had a story that he wanted to tell. This trilogy will see Blackula going head-to-head with Dracula, and I'm sure that, such a fan of the character, the series will also be filled with similar social commentary like the original film. Going to be published by Barnes' own Zombie Love Studios. Great name for a publishing company. And he's also saying he hopes that it develops into a TV series, which would be cool. Apparently, MGM also has a separate film in the works. A reboot of Blackula is already in the works from MGM Studios. Steve, I don't really know this about you. Are you much of a horror guy at all?
So I'm always more than happy to watch a horror movie, but it's never been like one of those passions. I had when I was in college, one of my roommates was a diehard on the level of you and one of our other buddies there, and every weekend we're sitting there watching something or other from B to C to D list, like all the way down the line, and it was always great, but it's always just kind of fallen off the wagon in modern times for me.
Yeah, so you're not going back to 1972 cult classics.
No, but like you said, I've heard about right. I've heard about it for years. Like that's always been one of those that gets referenced as, hey, this is a phenomenal movie to like hit the pieces of cultural awareness and representation in the genre and all that. So for sure. So I didn't see a release date for these. I think they just announced that it's happening. So I don't know how far they've gotten in the process, but keep a lookout for Blackula. Clearly going to be a series of graphic novels, but also maybe a TV series and possibly a movie as well. So more Blackula coming to us hopefully sometime soon. This week, this isn't a new announcement, but this is something I'm very excited about coming out this week in comic book stores across the land. Issue 1 of Batman 89. This is a comic book continuation of the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman movie universe. Written by a guy named Sam Hamm, who wrote the original Batman movie for Tim Burton and Michael Keaton. And artist Joe Quinones. I'm not sure how to say his last name. Quinones?
But this looks great. You can find the preview pages that they've released. The bat suit looks exactly like the Michael Keaton bat suit. The whole world, Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, the Batmobile, everything is completely in line with the feel of the original movie and Batman Returns as well. It is showing us that it's going to deliver on the promise of Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent and Two-Face. Billy D. Williams obviously played Harvey Dent in the original Batman movie. Was he in Batman Returns? I'm not sure. He might have been in there for like 2 seconds or mentioned or something, but I remember reading that he signed on to be Harvey Dent, knowing or being told that he was going to be Two-Face in a later movie. Then by the time that happened, that character got recast with Tommy Lee Jones and someone that was sleepwalking through a performance in Batman Forever. Anyway, I am very excited to read this book just because I love those original Tim Burton Batman movies so much. It's so cool that they finally done this. This is also not coming out this week, but I think pretty soon. There's also going to be a series called Superman 78, which is a continuation of the Richard Donner, blanking on Christopher Reeve. Jeez, wow, it took me so long to pull that name. Richard Donner, Christopher Reeve, Superman movies as well. So, and again, that's in the same vein, same universe. It's all drawn and made to look like the same universe. I have to wonder if this is being considered canon to those movies and to what we're going to find out in the Flash movie when we meet Michael Keaton's Batman, 20, 30, whatever years later. I guess I can't imagine that they're going to really tie it in that much, but who knows? Who knows? Crazier things have happened. So that's coming out this week. So check out Batman 89 if you are looking for some Tim Burton, Michael Keaton nostalgia. Other books coming out this week. I got to give a shout out. This is a weird shout out, but I feel like as someone that has a 4-year-old son who enjoys comic books, likes reading stories, sometimes it's hard to find books that are age appropriate for a 4-year-old. And I got to give a shout out to a series that DC's been putting out, Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries. It's a 12-issue series that's been issue 5 comes out this week. And it's great. It's kind of like Golden Age Batman, or I guess I should say Silver Age Batman teaming up with the Scooby-Doo gang and solving mysteries. And sometimes it's Batman, sometimes it's Batman and Robin. The most recent issue was Nightwing and Batgirl, so they're, Commissioner Gordon pops up, there's characters from Gotham City. It's all written kind of written like the 1966 Batman TV show with Scooby-Doo thrown in there. It's a little campy, it's jokey, it's funny. And it's great. And my son loves them. And because he loves Scooby-Doo and he loves Batman. And this is very age appropriate. If you are somebody like me that wants to get their kid into comic books and looking for something to read, check out any issue. Like each issue is a standalone story, so you don't have to start at issue 1. You can pick up any issue of Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries and read it to a child that you're trying to get into comic books or likes comic books, and you don't want to read them Sandman or whatever. So I would highly recommend that.
I shouldn't read my 3-year-old Hawkeye versus Deadpool.
No, don't read him any Deadpool at all. Okay, I won't read my son Alan Moore's Swamp Thing either. Gonna save that for at least until he's 5.
There you go.
Anyway, also coming up this week, we got Daredevil 33, Rorschach 11. We're on the second to last issue of Tom King's run on this Rorschach. It's very interesting canon follow-up to Watchmen and the HBO Watchmen series. It's very interesting. I've loved it. And a new Defenders book, Defenders #1 from Marvel, comes out this week. So those are some things that are hitting the comic book stores this week. Steve, anything that you're excited about, anything that you're reading, anything you want to touch on comic book-wise?
Batman 89, I believe, will be my first DC pull ever. So you are expanding my horizons, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome, my friend.
And I'm debating. I think I mentioned before that I've never really checked out any of the Defenders books, so I may actually throw this on, at least the #1, just to see if it grabs me.
Yeah, might as well. It's always good to see. People get mad about reboots and #1s and blah blah blah, but like that's how you're gonna get new people reading these books. You know what I mean? Like we've mentioned before, like it's hard. you go and you see 29 X-Men titles, and you're like, where do I jump in? This is overwhelming. But you see Defenders #1, and it's got Doctor Strange and the Hulk or whoever's on that team. You're like, oh, I know those characters, or I've heard of them, and it's a #1, so I can jump right in. You know, so it's always a good jumping on point. You know, clearly that's why they reboot things. That's why they do #1 issues. And I know collectors get annoyed by the renumbering or whatever, but settle down. You know, if this medium doesn't attract new readers, then it's going to disappear. So you know, let some new readers have some fun.
Yeah, not everything's Amazing Spider-Man where they could just number it whatever and it's still going to fly off the shelves because it's
exactly, or Batman or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So, that's all I got, Steve, unless you got something else. I am done talking about all these topics tonight.
No, I think that brings it to the end for us for tonight with a couple minutes to spare to stay under an hour and a half. So,
hour and a half. Oh, Jesus.
Yep. So, again, if anyone's watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, ring the bell to let us know when when we're going live. Don't let us know when you're going live, although, you know, we may check it out. Whatever.
Yeah. Sure. I want to know.
Why not? So, hit that up. As Mike said earlier, hit us up on any of your podcatchers, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, any of the big ones, anyone that I haven't forgotten to sign up for yet. I use Overcast myself. We're newly minted on Stitcher because I completely didn't realize we weren't on there. So we are now on there. So, here we go. Thanks again for listening, and I guess until next time.
Thanks for listening. So long.